You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Welcome to episode 29 of 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, seasonal pop culture. I'm Tairell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
Yeah, so we are back now on normal scheduling. Last week obviously was a weird one for us. We didn't release at the time we normally do, but we're all back now. We're ready, and we've got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things we didn't cover last week, mainly covering films, TV, and music. Still a lot of games news to talk about though this week that's happened, and we're going to get right in and talk about something we missed last week. And it's just a concept, really, that we come across on IGN one day. So this is a concept called Towers, and it is a multiplayer Breath of the Wild style prototype. And it's getting a lot of attention. It looks gorgeous. It's made by a team of 6 core devs in the space of just 1 year. And it's got sort of like Monster Hunter style monsters in it. So basically I think the concept is there's towers around the world and there's a big world to explore, and then you together with your friends climb down or glide down and try and either defeat these monsters or I don't know, it says that the game also includes farming and town building, but
yeah, that just sounds really insane for a core team of 6 people. I like like town building, farming, like multiplayer. Like this is a lot to be putting into a game, and it just looks amazing. Hopefully they're not biting off more than they can chew. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't want to see another No Man's Sky in our hands.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever played a game called Hawken? Apparently it's a mech shooter from released in 2012.
Hawken? Yeah. No, I'm gonna do a little search of it up now. Hawken, 2012.
Yeah, and this is the same team behind that. They're called Dreamlet Entertainment. So that's who are actually working on this game, I believe. And it does look pretty ambitious, and they've said it's pretty ambitious. They've also said we will deliver what we show in our trailer, just as Hawken did. I don't know if they're jumping the gun a bit here and saying that they're going to deliver something that's like this, because we've seen that with No Man's Sky, and you know you can't get people too excited in something that is just going to not meet their expectations.
Yeah, exactly. We already know, especially in this like era where like the consumers becoming more and more aware of the bullshit. And like, I guess developers and like really big corporations and stuff are doing more and more things to kind of like jade the consumer as well. So like, I know there's been slight improvements been happening, but also there's been like slight like alterations to the way how like we buy games, the way how like they're trying to make us buy games now. They're trying to really push streaming. So like, it's essentially you don't ever own the game. Like, hopefully with the way how it's going to go, if it's going to be a multiplayer only game and the game is going to be so vast, it's only going to be a core team of 6 people, I would probably say that membership base is probably their best bet to do something like this, to keep adding like onto things as well. Because I can't really see you paying £60 and having an experience like that carry on. I know No Man's Sky has done this, but it took them 3 years, and that's a bigger team, only a little bit bigger though. But I think Hello Games is a lot bigger now as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm just worried that they're going to overwork themselves and the game is just not going to be as great as their first vision was. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand that, and I think that's possibly the reason not to get too excited about this game. This is only an early prototype demo. Whether the 6 core devs also doesn't include artists, designers and stuff, we don't know. It could have a bigger team depending on that. One thing I do want to say after I've looked into this though is that Hawken was made using the Unreal Engine 3, and published by 505 Games. Now, if they're using Unreal 4 for this, they already have experience in multiplayer in the Unreal Engine. They have experience porting to consoles, if it's the same dev team this is, but the company has experience porting to consoles. They can get published by big, decent publishers by the looks of it, so they can gain funding from different places. So it's not unthinkable to think that this game could look like this in the end, especially if it's using something such as Unreal Engine 4.
Well, I'm a little, like, obviously this can't be like anything to say about this game, because obviously I don't think the exact same team is working on it, because they went by a different name. They're saying that like the game continues to exist on consoles, being developed by Hawken Entertainment, but Hawken the game has been removed from Steam, and all the DLC has been removed as well on 2018. Mm-hmm. So I don't know like what that really spells. Also, like, the game was acquired by Reloaded Games, which is the owner of APB Reloaded, which is like supposed to be like the like game to kill GTA. Hopefully that this is a new team and we're not gonna see something like this happen where like the game unexpectedly shuts down. That's all I can say, really. It seems to be a pretty good mech game, this game that they made. Like, I like the look of it, and it was a free-to-play game, which makes me think, are they going to go with the free-to-play model again?
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a market for this sort of thing. The prototype, you know, you can tell that some of it is gameplay. I think most of it is in-engine footage, but it might be pre-rendered or just rendered cutscenes or something still. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be gameplay, but some of it is gameplay, and it does look impressive, and it's not unthinkable to think that this is footage from an Unreal 4 engine build with lighting, because it's totally possible. It's easy enough to make something like this if you have the experience with the lighting using that engine. So it seems like they're sort of trying to go for the arc category here, I'd say.
But
I don't know. It's a concept, and
it's a bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're so skeptical about all of this, yeah, because we know what's happened before. That's why I'm just worried that they're gonna be like 6-man team. They're gonna feel the pressure, and then somebody's gonna come along and be like, "Hey guys, you want this like money so we could publish the game," and then the game just turns out to be like really lackluster. Like, I just really don't want that to happen. But I can see it happening.
Well, that's the whole point in this prototype, by the looks of it. Is to raise awareness, spread the word, to make the game a reality, is what the developers have said through social media. So it does enforce that it is a prototype, and they're possibly looking for publisher money to help expand their team and release this game. But it's a good prototype. It's one of the more impressive prototypes that I've seen that lends itself to a realistic prototype, rather than something that we've seen before, which is just like a very small, high dense environment, where we've seen things like demos or things like VR experiences, in my opinion, are prototypes and not actually like a game. It's just an experience.
Well, you can never ever really... VR in a full game experience is very hard to pull off anyway, because just due to people experiencing motion sickness, getting the game right, like, to actually be playable. And really, you're going to be standing there the entire time, like, walking through a game. You can sit down as well, but just VR gets a bit tricky sometimes when coming towards making a full experience. So I don't know. I'm really interested in this game, though. I really hope that it works out. I really don't want it to fail. I want it to be full development. Like, I want it to be a full release, and I want them to take their time in the game as well. I don't want them to get pressured by the internet, basically.
Mm-hmm. One thing actually that we haven't put down on the notes that we've not spoke about. PlayStation obviously held State of Play this week.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that shit, man.
But the VR game, Blood and Truth, which is like inspired by the London Heist PlayStation VR Worlds experience, it looks very impressive for a VR game. It actually looks like a game, a full campaign game, rather than just an experience. So I don't know if that means that this, there's a lot of focus on VR during the state of play, but this Blood and Truth, which is like I'd say an action thriller VR game, definitely looks like some sort of movement in the VR world for pushing towards actual games now rather than just experiences.
And I didn't really watch the state of play. I just looked up all the announcements and news, and obviously I didn't see no Death Stranding or anything about Ghost of Tsushima or none of that, so I just wasn't really that happy. It was in Days Gone, which I feel like they had to release something on that anyway, because Days Gone is out when?
26th of April.
There you go then. Very soon, Days Gone is out. And I feel like they really had to really show something at least. But yeah, they really focused on the VR aspect of everything. But they also had that new sci-fi game as well that looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the exact name of that.
It's all takes we observe everything, kind of. It's it looks like a cool experience. This is what PlayStation is basically just putting out, we're just gonna do some some experiences that they're gonna have, and that's it. It wasn't as impressive as Nintendo Direct, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Can I say one game that did actually impress me not impress me, but one game would be excited for if it owned a PSVR? Everybody's Golf VR. 'Cause that game's so good, but in VR would also be so good. I think I'd play it for a long time. It's one of the only VR games I think I'd pick up and actually play for a long time.
Everybody's Golf. I used to play that on PSP.
Yeah, you imagine that in VR. Great.
That would be. But didn't they have Didn't they have that other golf game? The one where you play golf and it makes everything explode. What's that game called? I can't. I don't think I've ever played that. You know the one though, innit? You know the one with the golf ball, and it makes everything explode.
I don't think I've ever played it.
Ah, oh, damn! Exploding golf balls, PS4. Oh, I don't know what it's called now, man. Alright, okay. Well, come on. Nuclear golf.
Sounds trash to me.
No, it's not. It's not nuclear golf. Don't matter anyway. I will think about it. I'm gonna try and have a think about it still. But anyway, let's go on to the big one.
What's the big one?
Mario and Sonic are back.
Yeah, that's big for me. Yeah.
Nah. To be honest, that is big though. Mario and Sonic is Mario and Sonic, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. That's going to be hard, and they're going to put bare work into it as well, because
I hope so.
Mario and Sonic are both Japanese icons. So hopefully we see this properly represented at the Olympics as well, in the opening ceremony. How cool would that be?
I think it'd be pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and a lot of British stuff was, represented at the opening ceremony of the London 2012 Olympics. So it'd be nice to see video games represented at the 2020 Olympics. They're also making the official Olympic game just a normal video game as well. And I gotta say, the last game that I played, that was the Beijing one on PS2.
Wait,
that was sick.
They're bringing back Olympics again.
Athens and Beijing, those games.
Oh, do you remember Athens?
Yeah, Athens was
hard. Oh my gosh, what a great game! Oh, I need to tell my sister about this. She's going to be excited.
Yeah, because these games were I wouldn't say the pinnacle of sports games, but it had everything that you needed in it.
There kind of was though, and it also taught us button mashing as well.
Yeah,
like it taught us like how to like properly like that. I used to play track and field as well, like back in the day. That was like the original button mashing. But Athens was like a 3D track and field, had all the things. Yeah, you could do pole vault, and you could do like clay pigeon shooting on there. It was great.
Yeah,
it was just great.
In the trailer, hammer throw is back in this in the real game, so you know it's got all those events included in it. Yeah, you got the swimming.
They might even have some of the newer ones as well, because isn't skating in that now part of the Olympics?
I didn't see skating, but I did see actual football or soccer. So that seems
really?
That seems to be a thing in this game as well.
This is hard. I'm really excited now.
Both made by Sega, obviously. They also announced that there's a game coming to iOS and Android called Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo in 2020, which looks like I don't know what the Sonic Runner game was on iOS, but it looks like that in a Olympic setting. So they've a more casual title that they've sort of brought into mobile as well. So they're looking at all markets here, Sega, for the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I am hoping that Mario and Sonic really sort of like that franchise comes back again, because it's died out with like the Wii U, and the people weren't using the Wii as much, and then moving to DS, like no one really cared about it. Now the Switch is here, and party games are big on the Switch. This is like the comeback time for these sort of games, and I'm excited. Yeah. Like it's coming in winter 2019 though, so I don't know if that's a bit too late. I can't remember when the games used to come out though.
Because remember, Tokyo 2020 is not going to be to summer, so that's still a whole year really ahead.
Oh, winter 20, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Did not click on my head that.
Yeah, so yeah, 2020, 19 winter time, that'd be cool. So people have enough time to play the game, and then by the time the Olympic comes on, like that's it. Yeah, it should be really cool. Well, seeing as we're on our whole Sega roll, we will get to the real big news. That is big news though, to be honest.
This is big news.
I didn't think they were ever going to make an Olympics game again.
I was hyped when I read it. I was excited.
Yeah, because they missed out Brazil, didn't they?
I can't remember when the last good one I had was Beijing.
I had Beijing as well. I had it on PS3. The Beijing one.
Athens and Beijing were like the good Olympic games, and then it just died. But the comeback's on though, so we'll see.
Oh, I'm excited. But yeah, we might as well just drop in this little tidbit here about Sega getting into the mini console market, and for £70, I'm kind of cheesed. Like 40 games, £70. Like I'm sorry, like there's much more. This whole thing of like rebranding these little consoles, it's just not even like a thing. You shouldn't buy them. I implore people not to buy these. Like,
yeah, but
because you're getting ripped off in such a way. Like, I guess like if you've never played some of these games, but who hasn't played some of these games? I have played probably every single game. Well, I have a Genesis, so I guess maybe I'm being a little bit.
It is,
like bias. But
so I want to say, from like owning classic consoles myself, original classic consoles now, it's a lot cheaper to go out and buy one of these mini systems than it is to track down those games on eBay, because you can pay up to like $40 for a game cartridge for these game systems of like a rare game or a game that people actually want to play. So you can end up spending more than £70 or $80 on, a few games and a console in itself. But, the sort of blurring the lines of everything here, it is the legal way to play the games that people have emulated for many years. That's a big debate in itself, whether that's right or not. But if you do still own the consoles, obviously you're probably better off just buying something off eBay. But it does work. I'm not sure. I think I understand it from a legal point of view, and it's a good thing to have for that. And it's a nice little keepsake to have a mini version of it, but that much money for that many games?
And they're apparently like 40 games, people are like, some of the games that they've already put on there, like people are really like, oh, they're not going to put the classics on there, are they? Like, they've said Sonic the Hedgehog 1's on there, and I think 2 may be on there, but bare people are saying that they want 3 to be on there as well. But because 3's never included on the SEGA, the Super Collection,
mm-hmm.
it's never usually put onto the Super Collection, like onto the consoles. Sonic and Knuckles 3 is always not put on the system. And I don't know if that's a legal reason or something, but they're hoping for it to be on there. But also, the system only supports 3-button controllers, so that actually messes up a lot of games that use 6-button supports. So you can already roll out a few games. This is just like the time when PlayStation didn't release the PS1 Classic with analog sticks, which ruled out a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already seeing some of the similar problems again, like meaning, you only have 3 buttons, meaning and games that only support 3 buttons are more likely to be on the system rather than 6-button games. So that means a lot of the fighting games might not be included.
Yeah, that's a bit of a... But I don't really know why they do, especially considering the fact you just mentioned as well. They release these games in collections a lot these days that you can play on modern consoles. So I don't understand why they limit it to certain games. But, Nintendo obviously started this craze by releasing mini consoles and putting games on that people could already access on the store that they've already probably bought about 7 times across 7 different Nintendo consoles before they changed the whole thing. I'm not going to get into that because we've already done that before. But like, is it worth it, or are they just trying to find other ways to sort of pull off nostalgia? Because it just seems like that, and it just seems like it's getting more and more corporate bullshit. Like,
about to say, Tom, like, something that's going to probably piss you off even more, and that is like adding to your point of this corporate bullshit. So apparently the Japanese version gets the 6-button controllers, but the EU and North American get the 3-button ones.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, it's just bullshit. Like, why does the US and the EU versions get the 3-button controllers, but the Japanese version gets the 6-button controller? Yet I'm pretty sure it's being manufactured by an American company.
Whether it is because the fact that that's the more common variety in those countries during the time it was released, maybe, but still, like, why if you've expanded on that hardware throughout the hardware generation, would you then re-release it but cut it back to the basic stuff it was at the start? Like, surely if you've already made improvements to that, you just release a new, smaller version, but with all the improvements on. Like, obviously it's not a real console. It just looks like a replica console, and then it just emulates games inside. We've seen that before. But surely, like, hardware-wise controllers, you just include all the stuff you already had.
Exactly. And another thing as well, why can't we just get to the point now where we can just... These people are not making any money off some of these games anymore. Why can't we just put every single game that ever existed on the console on there? Like, surely the hard drive won't get full of these games. Like, you can put a big hard drive in there, like 100 gigabytes. That will never fill up with the amount of SEGA games. You don't even need to put every game on there, but put like 100 games on there, or like 150. Then you're putting 40 games on there, and then the EU people and the American people are not even going to probably get any of the fighting games. So that's already ruled out. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I'd expect, for example, if a franchise comes to it, that a deal would be made with that franchise that all games released on that system came with it, or something like that. So you could at least have, like, a good plethora of games on there to go through, 150, 200 games. A bit of value for money, maybe, then.
Yeah.
Because, like, this, you can not legal, but you can. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not legal, but I'm not. It's a black area. But
well, really, if you own the game, you can.
Yeah, but what? The point is, you can buy something like a Raspberry Pi, set up something of an arcade machine, or put it in its own case, and emulate all these games from
allegedly, you can emulate.
Well, no, you can. People post it on the internet all the time. You see it on Reddit constantly. People showing examples. There's even software built to help it. And if people can gain access to that, and you still have to buy the board and do a bit of work with it, but
But you can even buy boards now that are fully done for you, or you can send it to people and they would do it for you for a fraction of the price, and then next thing you know, you've got basically an entire retro system. Like, you've got every single type of emulator on there. You'll have the Game Boy, everything, and people are paying £70-80 for a mini system, and it usually comes out to lackluster, and then you look into the console and then people are seeing that games are locked behind the hard drive and you can unlock more games. Remember when the NES came out and that happened? It's just one big mess. We wasn't even really planning to talk this long about the Sega Mini, but it just goes to show when you start looking more and more into things, it's really fucked up how they're really trying to rip people off. I know it's a collectible item, but you can't then offer 6-button controller and a totally different lineup to Japan, and then release some lackluster lineup that's probably not going to include any fighting games to the Western audiences. I think that's just really silly, and Sega are just trying to cause issues for themselves, and they already have caused issues for themselves because the system before that was faulty and didn't sell very well and was trash, so bare people had to get refunds. And this is the new system that they're developing to actually cover that system up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought they already released one.
Yeah. This is the new system that they're doing to cover that other system up because it was such a train wreck.
I think I'll give it a miss myself, but...
Yeah, I don't buy into none of these mini consoles, man. I was going to buy into the PlayStation 1, but then when I found out it had no analog support, I was just that's definitely going to rule out quite a few games, so no.
Best bet is if you really want to play one game, go back and get it on the original console it was made for. And you can probably have a better experience than playing on a emulated version. Or if someone's remastered it on a newer console, there you go.
Yeah, go play the remaster. Yeah, you can definitely... There's a lot of ways to play some of these old games now, in other capacities. So I would look around first before you decide to buy, this mini console, if any of, you are going to purchase this.
Big news. You're going to move on to the big news?
Big news? Okay, let's move on to the big news, man. You want to lead it in?
I don't know what the big news that originally was going to be.
Well, the big news is that Borderlands 3 is finally confirmed. Oh wow, big surprise! We all knew that Borderlands 3 was coming out because Gearbox has nothing left now in their arsenal. This is the only thing that they have.
Well, I don't know. They've got the publishing side now, which they spoke about for a long time during that conference.
First and foremost, fuck Randy Pitchford. I don't even know why he's even on there. That guy, he's got so much. He shouldn't even be talking on stage right now. Why is he even talking?
Did you?
Isn't he in a legal battle right now?
I don't know. Did you actually watch the?
No, I heard it was a train wreck though. What happened? Give me the rundown.
Well, was it a train wreck? I don't know. Well, apparently Randy Pitchford is a magician now, and that took up about 15 minutes of the actual conference.
Why?
Honestly, we were sat watching it. There was 7 or 8 of us around the one computer, still trying to work out why he was doing a card trick. None of the time that was going on, you could see what card he was picking out of this thing. All of that was because there's a card game coming out using the Borderlands license, but you never understood what the game was about. You just seen him count the cards out of deck, do a magic trick with it, and then that was it. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, you're making a game, but what the fuck's the game about? Like, you've just gave me a magic trick. I could have gone to fucking Vegas to see that. I want to come to PAX and see you do a magic trick. You're not even a magician.
You're not even a
Oh. And then the fucking trailer debacle. Wow. Like, I don't know who those IT guys were that they had there, and I don't know if that was Gearbox's fault or PAX's fault, but someone didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing there. Like, apparently the videos were pre-rendered in 4K. What laptop are you running that shit on that can't put a video in 4K on a screen without frame drops at 60 FPS? Like, surely it's pre-rendered. It definitely was pre-rendered, because at one point we seen the Windows video player pop up because it stopped playing.
Yo, oh my god, no, there was not using Windows player, was
Yeah,
it?
not Windows Media Player either. Just Windows, like, just a video player in Windows 10.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Use VLC or something? Why are you doing that?
That is.
Oh, what? Jesus Christ. I just, and you just like, I'm looking at like Gearbox, and I'm looking at their track record right now, and they published We Happy Few. That just goes to show what's going
they
on.
announced some DLC for that as well. To be honest, I didn't really watch most of it. Risk of Rain 2 was announced, multiplayer, and that came out on the same day, early access. Looks interesting, you know. I'll give them that one. That one looks interesting.
Well, Risk of Rain 1 was a 2D game.
It's 3D now.
Yeah, they've developed it into 3D now, which is crazy because like Risk of Rain came out quite a long time ago. Like, was it 2013? Like Risk of Rain came out for, and then it came out on the Switch last year, and then now the 3D one is coming out, but it's been published by Gearbox. Man. I'm already not liking like what I'm hearing. Like,
I don't know. I think like people getting into publishing like this is okay. Double Fine have done it, publishing a lot of things as well. And Double Fine, obviously, some of the creators behind a lot of the adventure games back in the day, Psychonauts and stuff like that, they've released as well.
So that's a pretty good game.
It's not bad to see stuff like people picking up smaller games to publish them or allow them to make a sequel to it. But you know, the main thing was Borderlands 3. Obviously, at the end, waited an hour and an extra 10 minutes because the video didn't play to see this trailer, and then he said, "Do you want to see it again?" I said no, but we still had to see it again.
I said no.
And then we didn't get any details of when it's going to be released or anything. So it just seemed like a waste of an hour watching a guy try and do a magic trick and telling us about all these new Borderlands HD collections that are coming and remakes, all in 4K, and none of the videos that they were trying to show run in 4K. And it's just like, okay, like I've not played many of the Borderlands games in full. I've never played any of them full, actually.
I'm a little bit confused as well. Why is Borderlands not being published by themselves?
Okay, there's 2K like above them in it. I think 2K own it or something. I don't know.
2K. I didn't think 2K owned Borderlands though.
2K always publish it though. I don't know if they have some sort of contract,
like some sort of like contract in place.
Where Borderlands, because it was originally published under them, they own some of the IP and can always publish it or something. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely coming. So if you like that looter shooter, then one of the originals and best looter shoot co-op games is coming back for the third time. And it looks interesting. Some of the worlds in the trailer look really cool. But I just can't help to think about the fact that it was an awful conference and such a time waste. And you could have just released the trailer. There was no need for it if there was no other details to be involved. Like, they just filled time up for no reason, and there was no need. Also, I want to point out, if you're going to remaster all your games in 4K, make sure the videos run on your computer first before you start saying we've remastered everything in 4K. Because I'm not going to go out and buy all your games in 4K if the video doesn't fucking run. Because I don't know how those games are going to run in 4K if the video doesn't run. Like,
I have no idea. Like, I just don't trust Gearbox. I just don't trust them as a company. Struggleborn, was just terrible. That just died peacefully. No, he didn't even die peacefully. It died a horrible death.
When did that game come out?
2016. It got killed by. It was literally Overwatch.
When did that game end? 2016.
I think 2016. when did? Let me see when it died. I think it died in 2017, and then it went free to play in it.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't know. Anyway, that was the big news. Borderlands 3 is there. Final thing, just to cover up the gaming section now, because we'll get on to some other stuff next week, or the week after, I should say. For those of you who are interested in Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, does that matter? Well, maybe not Skyrim. Maybe not Skyrim, actually. Just the Elder Scrolls main series in general. You would have seen this week maybe the Skyrim granny, who is an old woman who plays Skyrim a lot on YouTube, is actually being implemented into the game, or has been scanned into the game as an NPC following a petition that a lot of people made ages ago, petitioning for her to actually be put in the game as an NPC, as she might not be alive when the game's released. So it does look like Bethesda have done something good.
Yo, that's fucked up.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
What the fuck? That is fucked up, man. Like, yo, Todd Howard better just hurry the fuck up and make sure that game... That's made me sad now. I wanted to play the game.
They also said that... So they did release the video and did a lot of stuff at PAX. They said that Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are not at E3 2019. So I don't know what they're going to show at E3 2019. Because no one cares about Fallout 76. And then we did see a video for the 25th anniversary where they talk about how they're using new techniques. They say that loosely. So basically, they're taking photos of real world objects and then scanning them in to make assets within a game. So rocks and stuff like that. It's like photogrammetry, maybe, I think. And they're also obviously scanning people in now for faces and stuff. Now, a few people have said that this looks new for Bethesda and their engine, and yeah, it does. We know they were reworking that animation system and stuff, but I don't know if the scan to me looks that impressive compared to what we've seen before. Like, scanning technology is not that hard. Also, that's in the 3D software. That's not in game engine, so it could look completely different. I don't want people to get hyped about this and be like, oh, the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be so insanely good, it's going to look lifelike. Just wait and see. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Yeah, let's just wait, because obviously we know how that kind of technology works, and just because they're using photo scanning, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to use the full textured version of that, whatever they photo scanned in games, because that photo scanning is used a lot anyway. But we can never ever have a fully realistic mountain in a game, because the game wouldn't really... I don't know how they'd be able to optimize it, like, to have such... That's a lot of data, like, to have in a game, because it's lots of thousands of little pictures that they've taken, and then, like, you know, the 3D software pieces it together, and then obviously an artist and stuff like that kind of clean it up and whatever. and the 3D artist will clean it up, and then the developer will put it in the game and stuff like that. Like, we just have to see. Also, Wolfenstein is coming as well.
Yeah, that's probably what they're going to be covering at E3, actually, isn't it? They announced the release date for some of the new Wolfenstein games, so they do also have something to cover at E3.
Anybody who owns Wolfenstein Youngblood can invite a friend to play for free.
Okay, so maybe games companies fucking up isn't that bad, because it allows them to try and make shit up to people later on by doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, it does. I think that's one of the best things. That used to be such a big thing. Remember, like, back when the first, the current gen came out, and they were like really trying to encourage like people using the keys. I remember Far Cry had
keys to Kyra and Far Cry 4.
Yeah, and I had like some other games allowed you to play games for free. The share play thing was really big when it first started, but nobody has great enough internet for that to work now. So,
well, they better, because Stadia's coming. So,
Stadia's coming. I don't even know who's going to be able to really run that, because my internet is ass. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, is that about it for the gaming section? We should move on.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
We've got a couple more things to cover next week, so we will get down to that. Oh yeah, and Drive Club shutting down, so yeah. 2020. I thought that's not really worth mentioning next week, but Drive Club's shutting down March 2020. You can last purchase it in August 2019. I don't think the game is that prominent anyway, so up to you. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to jump straight in with some more positive news. James Gunn is back as director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he's still working as director of Suicide Squad 2. So, bit of a weird one.
I don't really like to start off with it. Yeah, I don't really know what Disney was really trying to like. I don't know what really happened there, like over like the tweets and stuff like that. Like, fair enough, I do understand that, I do understand the tweets behind it and what the controversy was around and stuff like that. But it's a sticky thing. I feel like it's really hard to talk about these like things, because I can't really say.
You can't make jokes about things being sticky in this context.
Well, fuck. It's a hard topic to talk about, because I want him to finish Guardians of the Galaxy, because he was a really good series, and I feel like maybe he should finish it, like, at least. Like, if Disney want to fire him after, then fair enough, but at least let him finish the third film, like, 'cause that's supposed to be like the last film. Well, not the last film, but it's tying up his trilogy in it, like, at least.
Well,
I just thought it would have been weird having a different director. We've seen what happens when directors take over, and it doesn't really work out.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last thing that he wrote screenplay wise, the last great thing that I think possibly his greatest ever work was Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and I've got to say, beats Guardians of the Galaxy. It's out of the water straight away. So I say, bring back Scooby-Doo. Forget Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wait, hold on. Scooby-Doo is coming back. Did you hear?
No? What?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo is coming back. Sorry, I actually forgot to say something. Yeah, Scooby-Doo, there's a new Scooby-Doo film coming out. Like, the cast is out and all sorts.
Called Scooby-Doo 3, The Mystery Begins. No. Don't know what that was. Is it?
Yo, we need to watch it. No, it looks joke.
Is it that?
No, it's not that. It's what's it called, man? There's a new Scooby-Doo film coming out. New Scooby-Doo.
Well, the reason why this is coming up is because here in the UK, the new Scooby-Doo, well, the old Scooby-Doo movies, Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, they were really good films, by the way, I think. Were released on Netflix recently, so a lot of people have been rewatching them. Me specifically, I rewatched them the other day. And also, we're discussing this. It's going to jump back to gaming a little bit now, but if anyone out there has played Scooby-Doo, the movie, on Game Boy Advance back in 2002, hit us up and let me know, because that game was insanely good and one of the best games I've played in my childhood, and I want to know everyone else had the same experience with that game. I want to know other people played that game and it wasn't just me that bought it because I like Scooby-Doo. Although I feel like that is the case.
The way how you was just like fully like going in, like he was like, yo, he's played a Scooby-Doo game. I've never seen a Scooby-Doo game in my life.
Oh, it's such a good game. It has all the aspects you need for a game. It's got puzzles. Yeah, it's a perfect Scooby-Doo game. It's got puzzles. You have to run away from monsters. You have to hide. You have to solve mysteries. Fucking everything. It has it all. And it follows the storyline of the movie very well, which a lot of movie to game things don't do that well. So it was a nice balance, I'd say. A nice balance. Very good game. I recommend if anyone's still got a Game Boy Advance to pick up that game. It's probably not for sale now, but you probably find it on eBay.
I don't think you're going to be very happy with like it's a Scooby-Doo like reboot film, which I think is going to be coming out in the cinema. I'm not really sure why, but it's an animated Scooby-Doo film, so I don't know whether this is CGI or cartoon animation, but it's the first time since Scooby-Doo 2 that like Scooby-Doo's been back on the silver screen again.
Yeah, I don't mind an animated Scooby-Doo film.
I'm gonna see it. Apparently, Captain Caveman's going to be in there, and Dick Dastardly and all that. Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, Tracy Morgan is Captain Caveman.
I like Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan's funny.
I always a big fan of Hanna-Barbera stuff. I had the complete collection on video. If anyone remembers what that is. Yeah, jeez. I remember that now. I used to have a box and it had 3 videos and what was it? Is it Dick Dastardly, Muttley, Catch the Pigeon, Penelope Pitstop, and Wacky Races was on there. Got Captain Caveman, Scooby-Doo. Wow. And now, I don't know, we don't really get stuff like that anymore. Not of that degree anyway, I'd say.
No, well, like, when I went home this weekend, when I was looking at, like, TV, like, kids' TV, because obviously I don't watch it, like, I don't know what's going on these days, innit? So, when I was, like, looking at, like, Cartoon Network and this kind of things, yeah, there's not really, like, everything looks the same. Like, everyone, it's what's it called? Cal Arts. That's like new art style that everyone uses now, and that simplified Adventure Time looking art, like, that everyone seems to use. That's what it all looks like to me, and I don't know. We're gonna have a wider conversation about cartoons, because that is really I feel like it's declined, because I've been watching episodes of Recess, and they were so sick for our time. Like, we were so like lucky to have a show like that.
Mm-hmm. I think there was a lot of good animated shows when we were kids back in the 90s to 2000s. I know Hanna-Barbera came out way before that. You know, Hanna-Barbera, things like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, Penelope Pitstop, Wacky Races, Caveman. I'm not sure if the Hair Bear Bunch was part of that as well, but like, what I did basically just made up most of Cartoon Network's like
the core roster.
When we were kids.
Yeah, and then obviously we had like, you know, the 90s resurgence of like cartoons like Dexter, you know, Cow and Chicken, Courage, mm-hmm. like all of the classics that we know about. Like, that's what we grew up with.
Like Powerpuff
Girls, fuck, like there's so many good prominent cartoons back then. Recess, all of those are the Disney like ones, and he had the Nickelodeon ones like Rocko's Modern Life and all that, like Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, like yeah. It was really really cool back then for cartoons and shit, man. But as I said, we can have a wider conversation about that. I'm happy to see James Gunn back. I know it's a bit controversial, but let's just let him. He could do the film. And that's it, innit? Like, let him crack on with the film. We all know we wanted to see his vision of Guardians of the Galaxy. To me, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just some tweets, but, you know, we've got bigger issues to be dealing with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think we need to be tackling bigger issues inside of Hollywood rather than this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been very strong on this before. I'm not sure if I said before, when we discussed this, obviously the first time when he was sacked, but I've been very strong on this, possibly not on the podcast, possibly like offline, just between us or the conversations we have. But I think that a lot of people are, you know, it's just a troll thing on Twitter now, a scapegoat thing, just try and ruin someone's career because they're doing better than you and you don't like the fact that they're doing this, or they may have said something in the past and you're just going to bring it up. We saw it with Kevin Hart not doing the Oscars, and you're taking something that these people have worked very hard for. You know, you don't just get gifted the chance to go there and do something like that. You have to still earn, even if you're born into that, you still have to earn it to a degree. You know, you still have to try and work your way to be in those stuff and have the ability to do that.
I think it was fucked for Kevin Hart because he's come such a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like, from stand-up. I mean, I do understand, yeah. I don't really like Kevin Hart's work that much anymore. Like, he was funny back in the day, but he's not now, to me, personally, because that's just my preference. Well, I know he's funny to a lot of people, especially, like, mainstream audiences. Yeah. So, like...
Yeah, I think... So, I just want to... The difference is he's gone quite mainstream now, like you've said. His old comedy is very darker, I'd say. Or edged on the... You know, edged on that side of edged on that, like, more explicit side, or...
That's what I'm saying. If we're really keeping it, like, all the way, like, think about people like Frankie Boyle and that still manages to get a TV show every now and again, like, on TV. You know, like, this, I know, and he's joking. That's the thing. These are comedians. Mm-hmm. So they're like, do you think we can't really take them serious? That's a different conversation as well, like, because jokes is all, like, very much like, how you interpretate jokes and how you take it in. And because we have social media, yeah, I think it's more harder to interpretate words. And I know this is a really, like, weird thing to discuss because obviously you can say really hateful things online that's uncalled for. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I really think it's uncalled for. And, like, obviously, like, I understand, like, I don't agree with what he said and stuff like that, but I do understand as well at the same time that, like, I don't think nobody was really thinking about the repercussions. And I know that's bad to say that nobody's thinking about it, but you just don't know, do you? Like, I guess you just don't think that this is going to happen. But it is what it is, isn't it? Like, James Gunn's back now.
I have a story about this, actually. So I went to see Frankie Boyle live probably 3 years ago, up in Leeds. And when we were watching him, and there was this woman that was sat to the side of us, and she actually heckled Frankie Boyle as he was making a joke. He then heckled her back, at which point I think she was offended by his joke, so she heckled him or shouted at him. He then heckled her back, getting a laugh off the audience, at which point she walked out. Now, if you're going into something like that, right, if for context of anyone that doesn't know who Frankie Boyle is, he's a very, very graphic Scottish comedian with a lot of dark humour. He will make jokes about everything under the sun that, you know, some people won't agree with, and that's fine. But if you don't mind that and take it as comedy, then it's fine. You know, he doesn't go out and do these things. He just makes a joke about it.
He makes a comment about everything, but I feel like now as he didn't really used to make racist jokes that much, but he did make a lot of, like, jokes towards a lot of really fucked up things, though. If you really think about it, like, I think that was more of his bread and butter, was like fucked up things, like his Queen joke, which I'm not gonna say like on air.
Well, yeah, but like it's just, you know, that's what he sort of gained popularity for, and sort of run with that. And if he enjoys doing that, and fine, like he can still make a career out of it, and he does. But if you don't agree with those jokes, don't go and
I'm about to say, it's like
go and watch the show.
I'm about to say Dave Chappelle is probably one of my favorite comedians ever. Like, would I recommend him to everyone? Probably not. Like, because he has some things that people would get offended about, wouldn't they? Like that Dave Chappelle says.
Oh, come on now. Can we start this? Can we start a little conversation about this? About the Dave Chappelle, Daniel Caesar stuff that happened recently?
See, well,
I think it was on John Mayer's show.
Yeah, that was on John Mayer's show, and that was on like Instagram Live. Like, I think I'm gonna leave that one alone still.
I don't know. I think it's two different generations there that have like clashed, and I think that's the problem. It's two different generations coming from two completely different areas or two different backgrounds, and you know, I don't know what exactly he said, but like he made a joke about some stuff regarding the LGBTQ community, I believe.
Yeah, I think he said that. I think he said the F word still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I don't think I really want to touch on it. Like,
it depends what context it's used in, but still, if you go back and look, a lot of his comedy, you know, when he was around that time, he used to use that word a lot, but he used to try and like he's never had a problem with anyone from that. If you watch it and know him and watch his stand up, you'll know that like he's never had a problem with that.
No, of course not. But that's what I'm saying. It's when taking it as a joke. It's like when Tyler the Creator used to say it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, think about it then. Like, he was... And I know it's like taking power from the word, and it's not really supposed to be for that. It's getting really super political. Let's just carry on with films and TV.
Anyway, it's interesting. But
it is an interesting thing, but I feel like we should maybe talk about this in another capacity. Like, I just don't know. It's a very hard topic to talk about. I think I need more prep time. I need to know the full story and everything. Like... Because it's an interesting thing to like talk about, and obviously like you can see how it's starting to affect most medias now.
It's definitely affecting industries in general, film, music, even gaming. It's affecting gaming.
Yeah, gaming to a point. Yeah, gaming to a point. It is, which is like, I feel like the gaming industry. That in itself is like just a different breed sometimes when it comes to like some of these topics. So I already know how to like even tackle that, because that's the industry that like we're essentially in. So I don't really know. But in more lighter news, Game of Thrones season 8 is coming.
Is that lighter news? Because we all know a lot of people are gonna die.
Yeah, of course a lot of people are going to die. And also, like, if we were, like, keeping it real, like, I think if you really want a real ending for Game of Thrones, I would probably...
Have you actually finished watching Game of Thrones yet?
I've started it, and I think I just started episode 1, and I just never ever got back to it.
You got 14 days, you got 2 weeks.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. It's so long. It's like a film. Each episode, I can't be asked.
IGN have put together some short clips of a rundown of Game of Thrones season 1 in 5 minutes.
I'm not doing that.
I think HBO have done the same as well.
I'm not watching it in like 5-minute clips. I'll probably end up watching Game of Thrones quite a while after Game of Thrones is actually even finished, because I just have so many series in the backlog. I still need to go back and watch Breaking Bad. I've never watched that.
I've never watched Breaking Bad. I couldn't get into it.
I want to go and watch Dexter, because people say it's good. You said it was good.
Dexter's one of my favourite series. Rewatched it at least 3 times now. It's very good.
But like at the moment, like I just haven't really had time to really watch any long form series. I've been like watched Love, Death and Robots. Probably watched that. Like I keep rewatching Bear of those just to keep looking at like little hidden things in the animation and stuff like that. It's so cool.
So you don't really know much of the premise of Game of Thrones, really, because obviously there's a lot of spoilers that obviously you possibly won't know, or you do know, and it might.
And I know about like Khaleesi and the dragons. I know about the White Walkers.
What? Dragons. Spoilers.
That's not even a spoiler. That was the entire
that's
thing.
Season 1 spoiler there.
Oh my gosh. I remember the dragons like for time, or like they had like she had the eggs and then the dragons were born, and like it's like my parents watch it and they're really big on it. Like they love it. So I've never really picked it up, man. I like Westworld. That's why I picked up like out of those long series. Westworld was one of those series that I will follow to the end now.
Yeah, there's a hype around Game of Thrones. It's good. It's coming back. It's finally going to be over. Each episode is meant to be an hour and a... There's a rundown of the episodes online. I think they vary from an hour and a half to just over an hour in length, and there's about 8 or 9 of them.
That's fucking long.
Yeah, because it's the last season though. It's like there's less episodes, but they've made it longer. Because spoilers, it's basically the finale now, and there's going to be a lot of shit going down. So they need
I knew
to
that.
extend
Everyone
it out
already
into
knows that.
Movies.
No, I already knew that it was the final series of Game of Thrones. Like it's been known, but interesting to see how he's gonna how the book will end compared to this.
Well, he's not finished writing it yet, so
Nah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't finished. Hasn't he got like 2 more books to write, or is it just the final book he's writing now? Obviously, he's told.
I don't know.
He told the showrunners the end, like of.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin's way behind on this stuff. Like he just kept getting distracted writing other shit, and then we'll see. Honestly, I've never read the books. We'll probably maybe read the books if I get time after I finish the series. But for me, if I've already watched it all, then it's just going to be the same story. I know there's extra details in there, but I don't see the point in going back and reading it all to find out that it's like I already know the end. So, I don't know. Some people like that. Not really for me. Talking about end as well. Avengers Endgame trailer came out.
Yeah, I have you seen all the posters that's gone with it? Like, and who's confirmed to be dead and who isn't?
No, don't spoil it. No spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. That is not a spoiler at all. If you have not, it's spoiler alert. Yeah, if you haven't watched the Avengers, then I don't know what you're doing. So Avengers Endgame, yeah, they brought out posters for who's alive and who isn't.
I don't think I've seen all the posters now. I've seen that Black Widow was fronting a poster in Russia now. Weird, but...
Also, the Hulk, the first look of the Hulk as well, has been announced. Like, a figurine has been spotted of what the Hulk looks like.
I've seen the Hulk. Yeah, Lego keep leaking a lot of shit, and I think it's really going to piss Disney and Marvel off. So...
Yeah, the Hulk has some, like...
white bodysuit.
Like, yeah, he has some type of, like, Avengers suit on, and then Thanos has, like, some type of, like gold body armor on with, like, this mad, like, little blade that he's got, and he still has the Infinity Gauntlet.
Not for long. We'll see.
We'll see what's actually going to happen with that. But, yeah, basically everyone's got these Avenger team suits on. Yeah. So I'm guessing, like...
We saw that in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's interesting. There's a lot of theories going around. Don't know which one to follow. I'm just going to go in with an open mind. We've just discussed this off air, but we're both going to go and watch Captain Marvel finally this week if we get the chance to, because we've not had the chance to do that yet. So we actually will, watch that. And then April 20... Wow, it's this month. Wow. I've just realised it's April, It's coming out in 25 days. That's mad.
It's going to be crazy. If anything, I probably will try and get a midnight ticket, because I would really want to see it on the day.
I don't.
It depends.
I don't know if I can do a midnight thing. I fell asleep watching the last one.
Wait, hold on.
It's 3 hours long,
Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, I need to be fresh and. I'm gonna say I need to be fresh and ready for this one.
If you're doing a midnight release, you get up at 10 p.m. and you head off down to the cinema after drinking about 4 coffees.
Do you know what though? I say this, but we're always awake. When do we even really sleep that much? So I guess it will kind of work in my favor. I don't really know. 3 hours is cool with me anyway. I don't mind 3 hours.
I don't know. I don't mind 3 hours. It's just if there's no break again, I just need a nice little break, 5-minute break where it slows down and someone's dying and you can sort of watch them die for a bit, Not, this guy's dying, let's cut back to this other place where everyone's fucking fighting again. Oh, this guy's dying, let's cut back to here, and fucking... There was no end to that. It just kept fucking going on.
Well, this is it. It was the culmination of 10 years, isn't it? There was just whoa, if we're going to make this film, we're going to make it action-packed as fuck. Let's do this.
I know, but I think it was that action-packed that it was just fuck, I can't do this anymore. My eyes are flickering. And then I think
Endgame's definitely going to be a bit different by the looks of it.
Hope so.
It looks like it's going to be a more of a slower, maybe more darker, Avengers film by the look of everything. So, well, it was the last Avengers film was dark anyway. That time when he killed his daughter and everything, I was like, the fuck,
oh shit, yeah, he killed his daughter. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Killed Gamora,
a bit late for the spoilers now, but
spoilers. Exactly, killed Gamora. They did the whole storyline about how Thanos is basically committing genocide on multiple planets. It's quite I'm thinking kids must have been sitting in the audience thinking, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, but it's just superheroes, isn't it? That shit does happen. It's just put in a light because they were wearing shiny suits, and it's oh yay.
Oh yay.
It's just the bad guy doing his thing. Because it is, yeah. If you look back over the history of bad guys throughout media or comics or anything really, they're probably all massive... I can't think of a nice word, but assholes. Because they are, you could link them to, dictators or people that... mass murderers. That's what they do. That's the whole point in them. They're an evil genius, but it's just a nicer title.
People always try and say, well, Thanos has kind of got a point. Wipe out half the planet and it will survive. I was just this is a super villain. He just wiped out half the planet randomly. So you're meaning to tell me that you'll be fine with your mom, your dad, and maybe your dog dying, so it's blessed because everyone else in your family still survives. What would you do in that position?
I don't know. Moving on to some lighter news.
You can't just say, I don't know. Oh my gosh.
I don't think we should get into the debate of what we should do with half the planet that want to kill half the planet.
I'm just saying, people are just being stupid, saying, I agree with Thanos. I was first and foremost, the Infinity Gauntlet isn't fucking real. So
there's always going to be fans, Thanos has got his fans. His stands.
He's got his stands. The fan stands. That's what we call Thanos stands. We'll call them stands. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that it's basically a cult at that point, isn't it? You know. But luckily, the Infinity Gauntlet is not real, so we don't have to worry about that happening. A big giant purple man is not going to turn up and destroy the world, or half of it. Not that I know, anyway.
As I said, man, stranger things can happen, man.
Yeah, that was a better transition onto lighter things or darker things. We don't know.
Oh man, the Stranger Things. Hey, that trailer had me fucked up, Tom. I don't know what's going on.
Apparently, it's Russians.
Yeah, I heard that. Apparently, whatever's happening, like in Hawkins, is like happening in like Chernobyl. This is a theory, apparently.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds sick, innit? It's a really good theory. I mean, like, you think about it, but I don't know how true that is. And it's just the way how, like, I don't know who is it, Will that said it. Not Will. Mike said it. He was like, oh, yeah, we gotta grow up, man. We can't stay in the basement playing games forever. I was like, why are you gonna hit me in the feels like that, though?
You can, Mike.
I was like, Mike, what are you gonna say that for, man? I was like, you lot are gonna be kids forever to me. Like,
listen here, Mike. I see you on YouTube playing games with gaming channels. Get out of that basement. You got a world to save.
I'm excited though, man. Coming summer as well. It's gonna be so sick.
Yeah, July 4th. It seems like that's it happens on July 4th. Comes out July 4th. I like how they fit the season to the release date. I really like that. Really, really just fits nicely.
Yeah.
The whole thing around the Stranger Thing, how they brought in a lot of pop culture in 80s and linked it to like the release dates and events that possibly happened or places in like it's just the fact that some of the monsters are named after Dungeons and Dragons monsters.
Yeah,
it's just a nice thing. And we've said this before. Like I think that's one of the reasons it's so popular. Anyway, because a lot of people have got a connection with that. But then they have took the story in its own original way. There was that one episode last season where it looked like it was gonna go completely different. And then nothing came from that. But it was just sort of like it was there, and I think it was a tester, but I think they realised it didn't work, and I think this is going to be more of the first season, maybe. Not as, I don't know. It's not going to be as, like, secretive or dark, you could say. More action-packed, but more towards what we saw at the end of season 2 now. Will come into season 3. I think that's good though, because it felt like they didn't really know what they were going to do at the start of season 2, I feel. I don't know if you felt that when you watched season 2.
Not really.
For me, it just felt like there was no purpose to some of the first episodes, and then it started to take shape.
It's like season 2 was very odd, yeah, because I felt like I'm gonna like season 3 more than season 2. Season 2 was just weird. I felt like the second season's always weird, like a transitional. You got to be better than the first season, but then season 3, you've had 2 chances to experiment with different things in those 2 seasons. So now the third season should be a nice balance of both from season 1 and season 2.
Yeah,
and then season 4, which is the last one in the Stranger Things, according to the Duffer Brothers season, they don't only plan 4 seasons. So that should be like the ultimate tie up, the conclusion, the final series. Like, we're not even quite sure if they're even like when season 4 was going to come out. They might wait for some of them to grow up. It might be a time skip. We don't know. So, it's really interesting. As I said, like you said about the pop culture and the way they've like promoted the series, that it's really good. I like everything that like they've done around it. Oh, remember the game's coming out as well.
Yeah, not forgetting the game.
Yeah, which is going to be really cool, and it's going to be like a nice addition.
16-bit as well. I like the way they started off lower for the first seasons and brought it up the same way technology advanced.
So sick.
I don't know if they thought about that when they were doing it. I'm definitely sure they did. But it's probably nice to see the transition. You know, this is like later on now, and 16-bits come, and this can now be a thing. Like, the design choice was definitely made to be a 2D game in 8-bit and 16-bit rather than something else, I think. Because they did the VR experience with PlayStation in 3D.
What, Stranger Things?
Yeah. Do you not know? Do you not know that? Yeah, there's a PlayStation VR experience.
What happens in it?
I don't know. I've not played it. I don't have a PlayStation VR, but it did come out. But yeah, it's now July 4th, 1985. So, you know, stuff's moved on. I can't wait to see some Russian CIA agents. Oh, no, maybe not CIA. I don't think that's Russian. But
Russia's KGB.
Are they?
KGB. Yeah, KGB agents. Yeah, it's going to be so sick. Like, I definitely can't wait. It's going to be like I can see the series is already going in a different direction. Like all of them seem so much more grown up. Like already. Yeah, it's definitely insane. You know, it's changed things. I've got high hopes for the series. I don't expect nothing less from the Duffer Brothers and Sean Levy. So like, it's going to be all good.
And then the big news. I watched this live. I was pretty impressed. But the big news, Apple, you heard it, Apple, releasing a paid gaming service. There you go, called Apple Arcade.
They're a bunch of things, man. Like Apple's trying to kill the game right now. That's what they're trying to do.
Nah, they are releasing Apple TV Plus and Apple TV app for all platforms. So they're partnering with smart TVs now as well, and other devices. Apple TV will be an application or a service that is allowed on other devices for free, and people will be allowed to have all their streaming services in one place and subscribe to channels on there. So if you subscribe to Prime or Hulu or anything, you can have them all in one place, much like a Fire Stick home screen if you have a Fire Stick, which is interesting. You know, it's a good concept. Notable exclusion from that, Netflix never mentioned throughout the whole thing. Can't think why. And then Apple TV Plus is their new subscription service with brand new content they're making. And wow, they had a lot of people that are included in this, like, that came out at the end. So, big ones, Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon are in a new series together with Steve Carell. And that's 3 big names in a TV series. It looks good.
You think that's big? I can't believe they still got... I still can't believe they got... I'm going to say, they got Oprah. How the hell did they afford that? How the hell did they afford Oprah?
Because they got money.
Jesus Christ. Like, Oprah, you know, like, what the hell? Like, Spielberg. Like, what? Big Bird. How did they get, like, how did they get these IPs? How did they even get these IPs?
How do you just put Big Bird in the same sentence as Steven Spielberg?
Look, because Big Bird is big. Like, come on now. You're telling me Big Bird isn't like a prominent character? Like, he's a part of the Jim Henson company, isn't he?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. So, I mean, Big Bird is a main protagonist of Sesame Street.
To be fair, actually, I don't know if you saw that Sesame Street thing, but I'm totally down for what they're doing with that Sesame Street series, the spin-off series they're doing, where they're taking a new character from Sesame Street and teaching kids how to code through a TV series on Sesame Street by showing them how real life things like instructions and stuff is like a basic concepts of coding underlying. Like, I really think that's a good idea. And, you know, by a tech company that's doing that, it's nice to see him doing that. I know a lot of people hate Apple. Yeah, I get it, you know, but I think that they will create some really good content. That's what they try and do. They try and create the best things they can. Their curation for stuff on music services, news services is always pretty good. That's what this whole event was about. But, you know, we both use Apple Music, and the radio services they provide and the shows and interviews they provide from that are always pretty good content. Their recommendations are always pretty good as well. So, I don't know, I think they will definitely be in and around the area now. You know, there's what I would say 3 or 2 main competitors now. There's Disney. Okay, 4. Disney, Amazon, Netflix, and Apple is sort of at the side because they're doing something different. But you can have Apple's service and then still subscribe to Prime and Disney's service or Hulu and use that through the Apple TV app and then miss out Netflix. So is this a case where people are now bunching up to go against Netflix?
Oh, so like that's a really smart thing to do.
Because they're not saying you have to subscribe exclusively to us. They're just saying, okay, well, you can subscribe to us, but if you subscribe to Apple as well, like, you can still use the service. You can use the app to watch all your stuff through it, so it's all in one place. And we support that.
Yeah, by Apple giving out the free application, they've already killed it.
I don't know if they've killed it, but they
haven't killed it because Netflix is too prominent, but I see what they're trying to do.
They have thought about the fact that they're coming into this market that is saturated with good quality content already.
Yeah, definitely. Like, hopefully, Apple can deliver some strong shows. And looking by the list of people that have got working on all of this content that they're going to be releasing for their streaming service, it could be a real contender in the future. So I'm going to keep an eye out for it. Definitely going to keep an eye out for it. I don't know if I'll buy it straight away. Maybe if they give me a free trial, I'll try it out. But I don't think I'll be outright like going to like, yes, I'm definitely getting that Apple streaming service. Like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I am interested in a few of the TV series. So the Jennifer Aniston TV series, the Jason Momoa TV series, and I'm interested to see what Spielberg and Shyamalan and Abrams put out, and even John Chu as well. They got people working on stuff like that. I know J.J. Abrams is doing like a documentary with a singer-songwriter. Didn't interest me that much, but some people might be interested in that. So, you know, it's an interesting time. That's all I'm gonna say. 2020 is gonna be a different place for TV. But we're gonna move on to music.
Yo! Super breaking news, man! Nipsey Hussle's dead.
That was not how I wanted to move on to music. Wow.
What the fuck?
Well,
what the hell?
I just want to say rest in peace. If that is the case, I don't know if the reports are confirmed exactly yet, but it's just law enforcement sources at the moment. But apparently, that is the unfortunate case, and 3 people have been shot at his store, and one of those people died in hospital.
This is just fucked, man. Damn.
I'm not entirely sure what.
It's just crazy, man. It's getting. I don't know. I don't even know what to say, man. Just rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, and we'll probably. What the fuck? I just shut outside.
Yeah,
I'm just not understanding.
He did tweet before that having strong enemies is a blessing. So what relation that has to this incident, I don't know. But yeah, that's just happened as we're recording this. If there's more details on that, then they'll be out there now. But sad news. We'll move on because there's not too much details yet, and we don't want to go into it.
Yeah, for sure. Man. We don't really want to go into it like that. But just rest in peace. And it's just sad because literally, like, he was about to have such a big year. Like, he just released his first album, and wow, man, it's just insane. Well, yo, let's carry on. Let's try and, I don't even know, like, just try and do some more positive things. We've got new releases this week and stuff like that. So we got Billie Eilish, When We All Fall Asleep. Where Do We Go? I tried listening to it. I ain't fully got into it, but I'm trying to listen to it more. Is it Billie Eilish?
Yeah, I think
Billie Eilish. I don't know,
Eilish,
but yeah,
not Eilish.
I'm trying to get into her more and more, and it just isn't clicking with me. I don't really know why, but I'm trying to listen to the album more and more and like see if I can I feel a few things on there, but it ain't clicking with me as much as like everyone else is like, yo, this album's so sick. Like, I'm not really seeing it. So it just could be me. I'm not really trying to say like, it's anything. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this album. Well, it's good. It could be better, but I think it's a good album still. It covers a lot of areas. It is alternative music. It's similar to when I listened to Tyler Cole's album, We're in Love and the World's Ending. Shout out to that album. It's been on the playlist a few times, but if you haven't heard it, go and listen. But it's similar to that album that I listened to back in 2017. A lot of the songs are different genres or go down a different path and try and do something different. Experimental, you could say. And it's a nice change to have that. She also doesn't take herself too seriously, which is what I like about her. And it's a weird one because she's a young girl, 17, very prominent in the music industry now, also in the fashion industry, has good friends in the fashion industry, inspired by a lot of people in rap and hip hop and R&B. Lana Del Rey is like her idol, which is weird because that's quite a new artist in a lot of people's minds.
Fucking Lana, I don't. She fell off like as an artist. I don't really like Lana Del Rey anymore.
But she said that she would like to collab with people like Tyler, Drake, A$AP Rocky in the future if she got the chance to. Like a lot of these creative people, and I've got to give a shout out to her videos as well that she does help to like work on. A lot of her videos are very creative, and
isn't the Spotify like? Isn't there like an experience you can do on Spotify or something right now?
I'm not sure. I'll look into that.
I heard like listen to the album experience. So I don't know if it's got some visuals to go with it or something, but maybe I should like listen to that. Maybe it might give me a different perspective on it all.
Yeah, you'll like the I can't remember the song, but you'll like some of the videos that she's released. They're very good. She has come from like a rich family in LA. You could say a family of actors and musicians. Her brother is a musician. He produces her music and writes songs with her. He was also a member on Glee for a while, a cast member on Glee. But, you know, it's obviously, you know, she's had the capacity to get to this stage through that, but not taking anything away from her, because she is doing her own thing, and her and her brother are, you know, doing stuff and writing songs for themselves, and their credits on the songwriting side are just her and her brother. So you have got to give credit to like that at the same time.
Yeah, credit's where credit's due, and like
it's something completely different that's come into like the industry and has gone to number one.
And obviously, I heard, well, we could arguably the machine is definitely behind her in it, so we could make a case for that. But like, she's young as well, which I do respect. She's quite young, so like for someone to be doing this at this age is quite reputable. Do you know what I'm saying? So big props to her. Still, the album's selling really well, so I can't really knock her on that. I haven't got into it yet. Maybe I need to sit with it a little longer. Sometimes it be like that.
You do need to sit with it a little bit sometimes, even as a fan. Like I found that.
I haven't really had a chance to really sit down and listen to it fully. Like, that's why, like, even, like, I think I was trashing Nav's album. Like, I went back to listen to some of the songs, and some of the songs in there aren't as bad as I was trashing them to be. Like, I like that Weekend song now. You know, that Price on Your Head? I like that song.
Yeah, songs aren't that bad, but it's just not a great album from Nav still. But
he has the capacity to do better. That's why I know. Like, yeah, I do understand what you mean by that. Like, his features on like Travis songs are so much better than his actual songs.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the problem. But just sort of to cap this album off, a few good songs if you do want to listen. Bad Guy is a very good song. Will probably be the next single off the album. Zanny is pretty good. 8 is a very different song, and it is track 8. But 8 is just a very different song that can pull, you know, it's just different, and it doesn't fit with the album that well, but it does at the same time. Like, you'll see when you listen to it. It's very much singer-songwriter inspired, you could say. My Strange Addiction, track number 9, they're weird as fuck. So it's a good song, but also it samples The Office.
Yeah, I did hear that.
US Office. It just samples The Office a lot, but it works. And you sometimes, like, you don't click until you're like, oh, okay, that could be Michael Scott. And then it starts to click later on, and you're like, what the fuck? How does this work as a song? But it works. So it's just weird experimental music that is nice to see at the top of the charts. I just want to finish this off before it seems like we're trying to promote the album. We're not getting paid for this. Anna of the North said something on Instagram I sent to you as well. Just going to read it out. She said, today's a good day for alternative pop music. Billie Eilish's debut album is topping the charts in 70 countries. Thank you, Billie, for leading the way in challenging the industry and changing it, for not taking a part in mass production of pop music, for not chasing the typical hit songs. Thanks for standing up against sexualization in female pop music, showing the labels in the industry that people are ready for something new. Thanks for being yourself and being cool. You go, girl. So I do see that. I do see that, like, she's not very sexualized. She just wears a lot of baggy shit. And she'll do what she wants to do.
She's 16, so she shouldn't really be.
She's 17.
Oh, she still shouldn't be sexualized.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
Yeah, I'm not saying she should be, but I'm saying that has not stopped record labels before. So
yeah, of course, yeah, not now. Now they could never get away with shit like that now. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, it is a really good thing. As I said, like, she's doing very well. The album's selling quite well. It's top of the charts. Like, it's an achievement to have at such a young age. Like, yeah, so yeah, big props there. So, like, as I said, I'm trying to sit with the album just a little bit more. Just gonna quickly keep running down the new releases because we're running out of time. There's a new Marvin Gaye album. It's like a re-release. You were saying before that it's just a bunch of unreleased music and a couple of singles and stuff that was released back in the day. So that's really cool. Marvin Gaye, you know, if you fuck with. The only thing I don't like about this is that I don't like Marvin Gaye's family, like his estate.
His estate is greedy.
This is literally what they're just doing, a cash grab right now, like, and yes, like I don't really know. It's an internal conflict because I like Marvin Gaye, but like, you know, this album's out. I guess Marvin Gaye never really makes money off it, but his family does. So that's up to your own device.
I'd take a listen. It's good.
Yeah, like, listen to it. It's just, as I said, it's Marvin Gaye. He's classic artist, like. And then you got World, Love is Contagious. Now I listened to this album and it's really good. I really like it. It's a different type of sound. Like, I don't think I've really. It's like African
Frank Ocean.
Yeah, it's
African
crazy.
Frank Ocean.
Yeah, I just really don't know what it is about it, but it's polarizing. Like, I don't really know what it is about it, but like thanks for putting me on, because this is really hard. So if you just want to listen to something that's really far away from everything that you probably ever heard, you listen to this album. It's called World, Love is Contagious. He's called World, Love and Contagious. World is in WURLD.
Yeah, I just came across it. I was doing work and it was very early in the morning. I'd been awake for a long time. I was like, what should I listen to? Go down some like genres. Oh, okay, African. Why not? Fuck it, it's top of the list. I was sitting the album out. I was like, interesting. Took a listen to one of the songs. I was like, interesting. And then put the album on shuffle and I was like, okay. And I was like, I found a good album somehow. Like, and it was hidden away in the African section. I don't think it needs to be hidden away in that section. But
yeah, it shouldn't be like it. This is the problem though, innit? Like we're gonna get into this now, and like it's just so fucked, because like we were talking about Spotify and how like the digital distribution is working these days, and we was talking about how Pink Sweats, his Volume 2 is coming out. Let me just get another rundown quickly of all the new releases out of the way, and then we can have this conversation. So Pink Sweats Volume 2 is out. Logic has got an album out. I wouldn't listen to that. Cautious Clay, Table of Context EP. There's a few more things that I've been listening to. The World Is Yours by Rich the Kid. No Long Talk by Baka. Odox has got something new out. He's from Wolverhampton. Odox Nonchalant. He's got a new song out. It's pretty good. There's some French duo called PNL. They've got a song out called AUDD. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and that's really about it. And if you're going to do anything, then really listen to that World guy and listen to the Billie Eilish album if you want to hear something that's totally new. Logic's album is really bad, in my opinion.
I never really gave it that much of a chance. I got about 3 songs in. It's mainly just singing.
I'm surprised we haven't even talked about. Have you seen the book he's released as well?
Nope. Moving on. Streaming services.
No, Tom. Don't worry. We're going to talk about this book after when we get off air, yeah, because it's something we got to discuss on here about that book.
Is it a pop-up picture book from the supermarket?
Oh no. It's some really. He writes like he's an edgy teenager. It's really cringy.
I might have to check it out. I'm a big fan of Riverdale, so.
No, it's not what you're thinking it is.
I'm joking. Riverdale went straight off that.
Yeah, what happened to Riverdale?
It's still going, but
did you not watch? You don't watch it no more.
I don't know who watches it anymore.
Jesus Christ! They literally like that had such a great premise as well. Like I remember you telling me about it. I watched a few episodes, and
season 1,
I just kind of fell off in it. Yeah,
and then season 2, and then season 3. Yeah,
and then technically Sabrina's kind of interweaved in there as well. Like.
Yeah,
can't forget.
Yeah, I don't know if it is anymore. Like,
I think they're a bit confused about what they're doing with that whole IP now. So I don't really know. But yeah, as we say, we was talking about something serious just before we started this, and we're only going to have a quick conversation about this. But we were just talking about how like playlists work and how Basically, essentially, a lot of artists now are gaining traction and steam off playlists, which is not really something that like is new and is not really shocking. But I think we're starting to see that companies now are like more and more labelless, and they're more becoming like digital distribution companies, which is what we found out is Pink Sweats is actually underneath just a digital distribution company. And the way how he got big is because these companies had good relationships with the streaming services. So he was able to get onto several of the prominent playlists.
We think.
And yeah, well, we think that's how he did it. Like, and also he got a premiere on Beats One, which is really uncommon for someone who isn't pushed by a major label. So we was just, what was we talking about? How was we like, we was having quite a good debate about it.
So we're looking into it. So a lot of people had listened to Pink Sweats on SoundCloud a long time ago. And then he bought that to streaming services as well, or he might have done it at the same time, I think. But a lot of people discovered him on SoundCloud, and then he's gone to Spotify. Honesty, his most popular single, got 30 million plays or streams. And Volume 1, it's got 50 million streams. The last time he got a certification of it. And that was on Spotify and streaming services as well. But I think like he still has a lot of talent, and obviously we know he's been writing music before for other people, writing songs for other people. So it's not a case that you can just keep pushing yourself into a playlist and you just get good or get big. Like, you have to still have a lot of talent and stuff behind that. You have to make good songs that people want to listen to, which he did and does do. So
yeah,
that's there, but it's a new way of people possibly breaking into this that are lesser known, or SoundCloud artists, you could say. The fact people can get on Spotify, the fact that if you, I don't know, I'm not saying go out and sign up to this label, but like, he's not independent, but he's with a digital distribution company as his label, and they obviously have contacts in digital distribution, so they can say, okay, well, we'll put you on all these streaming platforms. I'm not sure this is how it works, but I'm just example. We'll put you on all these streaming platforms, and we'll get you featured on a few playlists, but we'll take 5% of your cut, maybe. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm guessing 5% is definitely not the number they put out there. Like, these people probably up there like 45%. But if that's how it works, it's different to see how that's going to affect labels and stuff now. Because if you can sign up to a digital distribution service, have creative freedom of when you want to release stuff, and they just do it for you and take a cut of it, and they just get you featured on a playlist, then it begs the question, is that going to allow for more creativity? Is it the end or the demise of the traditional record label that we know? I'm not going to say know and love, because that's not the case. And it also begs the question, if this is the case and this is going to happen, are featured playlists just paid playlists at this point, like promoted playlists? And when does it become saturated?
Yeah, when does it start becoming like filled with bullshit? Because even already on our personal Instagram page, for some reason, people think that we do music. Like, obviously, fair enough, 808s and Joysticks, but you can clearly see we're a show. Like, we do, you know,
that's just social media. Yeah,
it's just like, but there's so many people in there that like have like Spotify playlists. Is like, yo, get your music on Spotify. We have 10,000 like likes or something like that. I'm just thinking, but who are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where did you get these 10,000 likes from?
There's a lot of services that have a lot of followers following a playlist, and then they get people to pay them to put their song on that playlist. Now, obviously, we have our own playlist, but I straight up want to say that we put on stuff we like and we think is good. we'd never go out and say we're only putting this on there because this person's told us to, or we're getting paid to do this. Like, the playlists we have, we curate ourselves for stuff we've listened to or stuff we like and think people should listen to. There's nothing else in that. Like, if there was loads of people listening to it to the point where we could sell it on for a lot, we wouldn't sell a place on it, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to give people music that we think is good and people that should listen to. Now, if that is the case, and we would put a song on there and someone's willing to do that, that could be a different story that we discuss. But as long as we're happy with the music, but we wouldn't just take anything for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. I know, like, we joke on here a lot about, like, I'm pretty sure, like, in some of the earlier shows, we was like, yeah, can't wait until we sell out and stuff like that. Like, obviously, I'm just joking.
That was you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a joke, innit? Like, I'm just joking. But,
if you got any hate mail, send it to P.O. Box.
Like, we would never do that. We can't. It just messes with my integrity. Like, I can't really, like, accept. If I like a song, I like a song, innit? Like, I'm not gonna really, like. And I think it's unfair as well to make people pay. Like, especially, like, you shouldn't pay your way if your songs aren't good. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should learn that if it's not good, then you need to improve. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've learned that. Like, we've had to improve over time. So
yeah, some of our earlier songs were pretty tragic.
Pretty rough around the edges. Like, especially Pilot. Don't listen to that one.
But, the EP's on the way, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, Culture album coming soon. Oh shit. But yeah, there's a larger thing to be had here, because man, we haven't even got into Article 13 and that passing and how that could potentially affect us personally. But we will probably get into that more in the next show, where we have a proper rundown on how maybe that will affect us, because we like having these kind of conversations, and we usually more have them off air because they're more businessy. But we do like talking about this kind of side of things, because I think it's also important for, like, young creatives to, like, be mindful of, like, the little potholes and potfalls that can come in these kind of industries. It's good to really educate yourself.
Mm-hmm. And this sort of brings it back to the original point that this whole songwriting thing is that we started looking at, because Spotify and Apple are having a big debacle at the moment. Spotify's trying to say that they shouldn't have to pay to put their application on the App Store, or no, they're saying that if their app's on the App Store, people shouldn't have to pay with Apple Pay, because then Apple get credit for it, or a percentage of it. But the thing is, they signed up to that originally, and everyone signed up to that originally with the intention that if people do that, Apple get a cut of the profit. Now, Spotify wouldn't be what it is without
the App Store.
And I know that sounds shit, because they probably could have done it on an Android phone still, but, you know, the fact that the majority of the market was Apple and Spotify helped that, and there was no other streaming service there, yeah. But if Apple want to make their own streaming service, which they've done, and it's on their hardware, their software, their App Store, you know, they're integrated into their own software.
Yeah.
Why would they allow a competitor to put adverts on their device? They wouldn't.
Exactly.
And it would be the same. That. It would be the same if Spotify was a tech company that made phones and software, and Spotify made a Spotify phone with Spotify OS, and it had Spotify built in. They'd say, you can have Apple Music on our store, but you can't put ads on there to say, listen to Apple Music. Makes sense.
Well, Apple Music is on the Google Play Store. I don't see Apple really complaining. Like,
yeah, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, I know it's a different thing, because now you can't could you never buy premium in app on Spotify, or is it just now?
No, you always could, but Apple get a cut of it.
No, but you can't now though. If you go on the app, you can't buy premium.
Because they've cut it out, so Apple doesn't get a cut of it.
But like,
but it's different because Google's not Spotify, so there's no limits on that side. But the thing is, if the hardware and software company that you originally planned to release a rival in service, you have to say at some point that's going to happen, and it was going to happen. They had iTunes, and it was going to happen. So
let's just talk about how Apple single-handedly saved the music industry. Without iTunes, I don't really know where music would be.
We had Napster.
Napster. Come on now, Tom. No. Come on now. Napster was no. Because when you think about iTunes as an actual like software as well, and how you could burn CDs to it and things like that, it was just like a music like platform that you could put your own songs on. You could use your iPod and you put your own music on. It was the iPods as well. Like, it's because all these like Napster never didn't have a Napster pod. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they had an iPod that could only be used with iTunes.
We got the Zune though. Do you remember the Zune?
Oh damn! Oh man, like I'm so glad we wasn't around them. But you know, the Android people would definitely be telling me, "Yo, you need to get the Zune, man."
The Walkman was the thing that I think the Walkman had a cassette player, but the music's always been there. When it started to move to digital, it was a bit of a change. Yeah, iTunes was the thing that sort of people took on, and it did help it. There was other tools as well, but that was the main thing. So anyone getting into music streaming should have known that that was a big thing, and there was, these people make a phone. These people make a music application. They link together very well. The next logical step would be to make a competitor to our service. So we have to build ourselves up to a point where we're like that, and accept that at some point that might happen. Like, Spotify's not losing out because a lot of people like Spotify, but they are feeling the heat, and they're not looking good in light of things. But I think that's about all we've got time for. And I'm going to end it on that, and that's something that you can think about, because it's something we've thought about, and there's not really that much of a logical answer. What's the best thing? The debate's there. Is it good? Is it bad? Maybe we'll debate it. We'll see.
Yeah, there's a wider, like, because we have the information, but I feel like we also don't have enough information. So I feel like it's also like one of our, like, it's kind of like one of our, not our job, but like a little bit kind of our job to inform people, as I was saying before. Like, and yeah, like, yeah, it's a lot. Like, a lot of things are changing, and the future's getting more and more crazy, and it's getting more and more digital. And eventually, I don't think we're really going to have a disc for anything, any platform. Like, and that's a scary time to get into, because when things fail, you always go back to like the hardware, don't you? The disc or something like what happens when the hardware is no longer there to fall back on? You just have the internet. That's just a lot of issues.
There's still a disc.
So, yeah, but
still got to be
eventually,
a server.
Let's say disc will eventually be phased out. I give it 10 years.
Yeah, but there's still got to be a server where everything's stored.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's true. But there's some things that definitely you're not gonna ever be able to get again when like discs go out of like print. Like it's just one of those things. Hopefully, discs make a comeback in like 30 years, like vinyls. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd carry a Walkman around in 30 years.
That'd be so joke. Like, everyone goes back to discs because it's like cool to have a disc now again, because it's like vinyls. That's just weird. Anyway, we have gone on for way longer than we were supposed to again, and I don't know, it was a really, really good show. So
I don't know if you can say, I think this is just a normal time now.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna do this now. Like, we'll do some more short shows and whatever, but we feel like, I guess we owe you lot, because what happened last week, and we felt like we should give our real thoughts and go as long as we can. And yes, episode 29. Thanks for all the support. Again, weekly playlist will be out next week. It wasn't out this week because we released it last Sunday, so we'll be out in the normal time with Tuesday along with the show. Obviously you'll be listening to it, so you'll hear it. Again, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. So sad. Condolences to his family, his wife, his kids. It's just super sad to hear about that. Everyone go listen to Victory Lap because it's an amazing album. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. Episode 29. Let's stop the gun violence in America. Let's stop that. Let's just stop that. That's all I gotta say.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.